I will try not to get too close. I really love Douglas. Oh, sorry. And I love this park. I'll stay here in my zone. I'll watch my line. I love this park. Chris Campus, a former student of mine, was reminding me as we pulled up here when I was teaching theater at Cochise College. He played Romeo on the stage here with my daughter being Juliet. It was a wonderful time, and this is just a great park, and it's nice that we could all be here. So thank you to the Portal Dems and Steve and whoever else helped to organize this, and to all of you for coming out. I am Sharon Thomas, and I'm running for Cochise County School Superintendent because I believe it's time to put students first in Cochise County. I'm an experienced teacher, administrator, and school district governing board member. I have a bachelor's degree in education, a master's degree in education, and I'm completing my doctorate degree in education as well. I'm currently, thank you, it's at Prescott College. It's a great program if any of you are interested in it. It's very exciting. And I'm really excited to bring what I learned back to our schools here in the county. And Mr. Campus, I'm helping him actually as an educational consultant. And if you're interested in what he's doing with animals and education in our area, you might talk to him. Sorry, a little side note. Anyway, I'm currently a member of the St. David School District Governing Board, and I worked in business management before becoming an educator. I owned and operated my own small business in Sierra Vista, and I've spent most of the past 20 years teaching and mentoring teachers in Cochise County. I've taught core subjects in career technical education in our local districts at Cochise College and at the University of Arizona, where I worked in teacher education, mentored many pre-service teachers that are now in our Douglas schools, and I've worked with the principals and both the superintendents here now in Douglas over the past few years. As an educator and as a leader in this county, it's been my experience that the Cochise County School Superintendent's Office is focused primarily on politics and administrative duties and not on providing the support system it should for our county families and our students. And we've seen this, especially this need of this, over the past few months. As Cochise County School Superintendent, I will build a connection of support between the County School Superintendent and our communities. Our County School Superintendent's Office should be a hub of educational resources and support for the educators in the counties and the families. As Cochise County School Superintendent, I will focus on technology and accessibility for all our county students. And you know, if you have students or know someone who does, how difficult it's been for them to be working at home. If there's 4 kids, mom or dad trying to use the bandwidth, we really need to step up and work, and we can do this with all of our county schools working together on this consortium. E-rate is not a consortium, and that's all we have right now in our county. And we can do what in the way of an arts consortium as well. What is happening now for some of our rural districts, and they have suffered a lot with the technology issues, and the consortium that they have for special needs, we need to support that. 12 of our rural districts currently have a special needs consortium that is under attack from our county school superintendent. And what they do is they provide services for special needs for 12 of the small rural districts that can't afford to have full-time speech therapists, full-time behavioral therapists, full-time behavior, all of this type of thing. So that building and supporting that consortium, instead of undermining that and taking it to the school superintendents to pay another administrator, that will overly burden these small districts who have been doing this consortium for about 30 years and doing it really well. And the supervisor may know when it used to be part of the county and then it was taken over back into and it really supported financially the small districts. We can do this with an arts consortium as well. Not by having an arts coordinator in a district or in a superintendent's office, at the county level, making a lot of money, but not in the ground. We need a consortium where we have a cadre of arts that can go out into the schools and teach. Our small districts cannot afford a cadre of full-time arts teachers similar to the special ed. So these are things that we can do to meet the needs. If a small district is only offering music because they can't afford an arts teacher, if we have an arts consortium through the district where the districts are working together, that will really help to provide for some of those needs. The other really important issue I was speaking to Mr. Sorensen about is that I believe we need a grants writer in the superintendent's office. Our local districts can't all afford to have a grants writer. If we had a grants writer working to help our districts, to bring them together, to get the money they need, the funds, and Marv and I are talking about a special project. Maybe 2 or 3 districts want to do a special project. A grants writer in the county school superintendent's office could support that and help with that. We really need to be supporting boots on the ground, not just picture taking and administrative work. We need to make sure that we are really supporting our students and our families. And I think that's the connection that's missing. Now more than ever, we need a county school superintendent who understands the complexities of the jobs and the full list of responsibilities through the Arizona state statutes and of what is really needed by our county districts, and someone who is willing to step up to make our county school superintendent's office that education center for support for districts, professional development for teachers, and resources for students and families. Students and families should know that they have a place to go when they need help, when they need support, that goes beyond just their local school, but that there are really resources there. And Kim mentioned charters. Charters are under the school superintendent, as are homeschoolers. And I would expand this to say at-home learners that are in traditional districts, but that are learning at home. We have a library there. I'm not sure how often that is used. I've never really seen it very busy in the county school superintendent's office. We need a classroom there for teachers. We can do what other districts do as far as providing that really strong support system for our districts. So I'm running for Cochise County School Superintendent because Cochise County deserves an education leader who will be a responsible fiduciary of our tax dollars and assure that our district's bills are being paid on time. Because when they're not, districts incur that fees, that negative on their credit if their bills. And if you don't understand how that works, I can explain that to you on a side conversation. But the fiduciary responsibility of our county school superintendent is for all of about 19 of our 22 districts. The smaller districts don't maintain their own payroll offices and these kind of things like the bigger districts. So we need hello? Oh, thank you. We need someone who will be a responsible fiduciary of those tax dollars, who understands what teachers and students need to be successful, and someone who is capable of collaborating with all of the county districts and bringing everyone to the table. Cochise County deserves a school superintendent who has a vision for our schools and will always put students first. So is that the end? Oh, vote Sharon Thomas for Cochise County School Superintendent. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you coming out, and I will be happy to take a few questions here, and then I'm on the side over here by the chalkboard if you have any questions. So yes, please ask your question. Right, and this is one of the issues that I think we really need a grants writer for. I'll try not to spew too much. Anyway, this is one of the things we also need a grants writer for, but we also need the training for. When we hit COVID-19, we found out 2 really important things. Our kids aren't as techy as they think they are, and teachers don't have the technology skills we need. We needed a superintendent that straight away started providing that training, and families at home. Parents don't know how to do Zoom and how to get to Google Classroom and do all that. That should have been coming out of our school superintendent's office. On March 23rd when we all found out we were shut down, right? As a principal, that's what I started doing with my teachers.
plexiglass if they wanted to get up masks. We're getting masks and our resources for the kids so that they're able to do the PPE as well. And then I'll go for a third. I said only two, but the third really is that technology and accessibility. Now that doesn't have to do with the health, but it has to do with the mental health, the educational health. And some schools, most of our schools, but not all, have been able to do one-on-one technology. Well, those schools that don't have one-on-one technology, they're in trouble. And if you've got two kids at home and they're only giving you one Chromebook, how are two kids supposed to do it? That doesn't work. And then the accessibility. We should have had school buses with hotspots out into our rural areas. I mean, we should have been doing so much more, working with our companies to make sure that our families could buy. I don't know why we as a county, and we can talk to the supervisor about this, but especially as the schools, as district, why we aren't pushing out broadband for our students and our communities that are economically challenged, and this might be something I could work with our legislators on. Why can they not buy in and access their, because even before COVID, as a teacher who has worked primarily in inner city and in economically challenged areas, I can tell you my kids don't have the accessibility at home pre-COVID for technology. So anyway, yeah, I get real worked up about this. I won't take a long time.
Also, you guys, I heard both you guys talk about behavioral health. You know, it's like behavioral health starts at home.
Yes, it does.
You know, and how can we teach ourselves how to spot that right on the spot instead of saying, oh well, you know, it's kind of like the comedian. I'm sorry for being, I guess it's fun and everything, but there's the standards go lower and lower. You know, and when I was a kid and when I was messing up, the nearest thing I had was a belt. You know, you're not acting this way. You know, this is what you really need. You know,
Yeah.
so
Well, we know that doesn't always work, but working with students and working with families is how we fix that. Now, there is something called the Child Find that every student has done early in the year to help identify some of those issues, but you know, they don't always get identified early on. And then sometimes things happen, trauma happens to kids, and we have to really be able to recognize trauma, know how to address that, and know how to meet students.
we as a community.
Well, Sharon, we'll go and give a few more minutes to chat one-on-one afterwards. If there's great questions, we don't want to cut you off, so please take some time afterwards to talk with Sharon on those. Thank you very much, Sharon.